And President Trump is expected to sign an executive order soon aimed at returning education power to the states. The Trump administration has already cut nearly half of the Department of Education as the president calls for it to be completely gutted.
Will the federal department shut down entirely?
I hope so. I mean, I expect it will. You'll have a few people left just to make sure they're teaching English. You know, you say reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Now, former DOE employees are speaking out, calling the president's claims that they weren't showing up for their jobs or they weren't good at their jobs offensive and insulting. Capitol Hill correspondent Jay O'Brien joins me now for more on that. Jay, what's the latest on the president's plan for education and the expected impact?
So as you said, he's got this executive order that sources tell us in mind, but he hasn't signed it. He can't get rid of the Department of Education entirely without an act of Congress, despite what he just said in the clip of the interview that you played. So what we've seen the administration try to do is essentially try to reduce the role and the workforce of the Department of Education, cut by cut by cut, and try to dwindle the agency down. We now know that nearly half of the agency's workforce has been eliminated. They've either been fired or they have resigned or they have taken buyouts or early retirements and things of that nature. And it's already impacting the work the Department of Education does, like creating the nation's report card, data from classrooms across the country. The administration has said it won't impact civil rights enforcement or financial aid, but we know people whose roles were tied directly to those functions have been fired or seen their work in some other way impacted, like civil rights offices in Dallas and New York and Boston closed. So what we've seen here is the federal government already try to reduce drip by drip by drip what the Department of Education does ahead of this ultimate goal of getting rid of it and this executive order that won't try to get rid of it because Trump can't statutorily, but try to remove some of its key functions and take them back to the states.
Jay, it's been a week since the Department of Education eliminated nearly half of its workforce. What are you hearing from people there and those who were laid off?
So one of our reporters, our producer here, Arthur Jones, has been running the ball really forward on this Department of Education coverage. And he spoke with one fired employee, Sydney Layer. And she says that, A, she loved public service, that she didn't want to be let go. She's too depressed now, she told Arthur, to be applying for jobs. But it's what she did that is so noteworthy. And we've heard this from a number of Department of Education employees, and that she was in data and AI and machine learning that the department did to try to optimize its services. We've heard from others who were gathering that data and creating, as I was discussing earlier, the nation's report card and how they do this various data of classrooms, et cetera. I think we've heard from some of those employees who say now they just don't know how they're going to proceed, and they're left with this sense of what is next for them, Diane.
And Jay, the NAACP calls these layoffs illegal, and even Trump's education secretary admits they would need congressional approval to fully dismantle the Department of Education. So what's next?
So what the NAACP has said is that in their view, because the administration didn't go through federal workforce protections, that's why, in their view, the firings are illegal. The administration disputes that. That is almost certainly going to be hammered out in court. On the other side of that, to the point that you just made, the administration cannot get rid of the Department of Education without an act of Congress. To your point, administration officials have acknowledged that. So again, they can try to dwindle the role of the agency down, but beyond that, they can't get rid of it without an act of Congress, Diane.
All right, Jay O'Brien, thank you.